We'll be launching this new program to make new funding available for commuter cycling later this year. New funding will promote local or provincial cycling infrastructure, increase bicycle parking, and support innovative projects such as bike escalators. We are also working on identifying a province-wide network of cycling routes to promote cycling tourism and recreational trips. And I'm pretty sure Eleanor spoke fairly extensively about the importance of buttressing our burgeoning and our growing tourism sector by supporting more of these initiatives, and she's 100% right. We made significant progress, I believe, last year, and that work is continuing. So last summer we collected information through an online survey and used the details gathered to develop a concept for the network, for that cycling network, including a number of route options. In the fall, we held specific workshops with municipalities and many others across the province to review the network concept and to discuss those route options. We got valuable feedback from everybody who participated, and that is so essential to the work that we're doing. So here's the really good news. I'm really pleased to announce that today, just in fact a few moments before I came to the podium, we posted our draft province-wide cycling network. We posted it online, and we're seeking your feedback. Your feedback and feedback from everybody across the province who is just as passionate as you are about making sure that our government gets this right. So I invite all of you to check out this posting at the Ministry of Transportation's website by going to ontario.ca/cycling. The network is a long-term plan. It's an ambitious plan, but it is a long-term plan. The draft network we've identified includes over 8,000 kilometers of cycling routes that connect regions of the province. So that's 8,000, only because you clapped, I'm going to say it again. 8,000 kilometers of cycling routes that connect the regions of the province and the people that live there, providing access to major communities and destinations. Approximately half of the recommended province-wide network routes use existing cycling infrastructure, incorporating large segments of the Waterfront Trail, the Trans-Canada Trail, and the Greenbelt cycling route. This statistic staggered me. Over 70% of Ontario's population resides within 5 kilometers of these cycling routes, which I think is essential to our long-term success. The province-wide network has the potential to enhance, again, tourism and recreation opportunities right across Ontario. And in urban areas, the network is also an opportunity to look at developing routes that will serve both recreational users and commuters in years to come. The draft network will be online for public comment on the environmental registry for 1 month, for 30 days. And our goal is to identify the final preferred network this summer of 2017. I know, again, that we're going to be able to count on extremely meaningful input and your contributions as we go through this process. Identifying and then finalizing the network are the first few steps of many that I know we're going to continue to take together. Next, we'll develop an implementation strategy for the network in consultation with our stakeholders and partners, and this is one of the many pieces that we can build on in our next action plan. All of our collective progress is leading us to the next iteration of Cycle On Action Plan 2.0. We committed to renewing our action plan, and work is underway across multiple ministries led by the Premier's office to do just that. We are in the midst of refreshing our website to create a new portal that will help Ontarians find cycling information quickly and conveniently through a one-stop approach. So stay tuned for a launch date on that particular aspect. I promise that will be coming soon. The last couple of pages of my remarks kind of go into a little bit more detail about some of that stuff I mentioned at the front end. The fact that the world of transportation is literally changing. There are things that were contained in my initial mandate letter 2.5 years ago, in my revised mandate letter from last June, stuff that I'm briefed on a regular basis, that when you think about the last sort of broader existential conversation MTO had around transportation planning a number of years ago, things that were never really talked about or thought of. So for example, the fight against climate change, which really has become a lot more ambitious from our government's perspective just in the last couple of years. Whether we're talking about that climate change fight, whether we're talking about the deployment of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles, whether we're talking about Uber or other forms of on-demand transportation, and that intersection between technological innovation and disruption and how we're moving ourselves, or frankly, whether we're talking about driverless vehicles, automated or connected vehicles. This world is changing dramatically. It really is. And I know that our government will continue to work really, really hard on what we're calling the development of the multimodal transportation strategy for the Greater Golden Horseshoe. And I can tell you in every single briefing that I've had on that plan, which is still under development, the notion of making sure that we don't just look at the more traditional forms of transportation, that we look at all aspects, particularly those involving active transportation, is something that's top of mind for the folks at the Ministry of Transportation. So again, I know I've stressed this, but I want to say it again because it is important. We need your input to get this right. I've talked a lot today about being held accountable, and you collectively holding my feet to the fire alongside Eleanor and Glenn and the Premier. Please keep that up. I don't really think I have to convince this audience to keep that up, but please do that. Please continue to be as passionate as you are about cycling and about transportation and about more livable, sustainable, healthier communities. I know I'm going to be able to count on you, and I certainly look forward to having the chance to be back, maybe in 2018, for the next iteration of the Bike Summit. And I want to thank you for your passion and for your energy, and most of all, I want to thank you for having me here this afternoon. Thanks very much.